Yes. Okay, we are live right now. Welcome to Third Eye Visions, where we motivate the blind, stimulate your mind, and welcome all kind. Today's topic: Black Lives Matter, explaining and understanding the movements and protests. And today I have a very special guest, someone whom I've had the pleasure of knowing for a couple of weeks, but it seems like I've been knowing her for a long time. Her name is Autumn. And before we jump into the conversation, yes, we're live on Facebook and Twitter and all that. But before we jump into the topic, if you haven't subscribed, if this is your first time viewing, please make sure to like, please, so that the analytics can grab this and push these videos to the forefront. Make sure to hit the notification bell, ding, and subscribe and share. If you even if you don't like it, please, someone else may like it, and that would definitely benefit the both of us, right, Autumn?
Yes, exactly.
Okay, so with that being said, I'm going to allow Autumn to come on briefly and talk about what she does and talk a little bit about her podcast before we jump into the topic of Black Lives Matter. We'll be explaining, at least I will be, because she has some questions, explaining and understanding the movement and the protest. So, Autumn, take it away for about 5 minutes and explain to the people what you got going on over there.
And of course, you're timing me. Okay.
Nah,
Uh,
I just threw that in there.
I was joking. Uh,
Okay, thank
anyway,
you for that. So moving on now, let's just play. Go ahead.
you're mean. Anyway, I am Anna Bakri, and I have a podcast which I've been doing for, I'd say, the past couple days now, called Anna Macabra. And Anna Macabra is a spiritual podcast. But even though there is a main element of that in there, um, I also talk about mundane topics as well. In fact, this very topic that we're talking about is also going to be part of my podcast as well. And even though there's mundane topics talked about, it always circles back to spirituality in some way, shape, or form. I am a blind witch and a polytheist, and you can find the podcast at the moment. It's on Anchor and it is also on Spotify. But it will be on other platforms soon.
Okay, what made you jump into
So,
to the podcast game?
what?
What made you jump into the podcast game?
Oh, okay. Um, so the short version is that I wanted to help people. I wanted to inspire people. I wanted to share my knowledge and experiences with people, and just to basically share my life, share my experiences, and so I thought about podcasting. Um,
Okay, all right. Well, y'all make sure y'all check out her podcast and give the name again because I butcher it. I don't want to butcher it.
it's Autumn Macabre. The link will be in the show notes, so
Okay,
I'll send you the
okay,
link
cool.
and things.
Now, well, y'all know who I am, so that's not important. We're going to talk about the topic at hand. We're going to open up to any questions that you may have, audience, and any questions that I may have or Autumn may have. We're going to definitely try to answer them. I'll try to answer them to the best of my ability. So she had questions about the Black Lives Matter movement, pretty much so what it's all about. I'll let you basically go into details as to what you
It
proposed to me that day. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, first of all, it they weren't really questions. It was just um, opinions. So first of all, to educate those who have probably never heard of this movement, because there are people in the world who've never heard of it. Um, this movement was founded in 2013 by three African American people.
And we just lost her. We're waiting to hear from Autumn. She just um disappeared. Let's see. Hold on. Okay, you're
And
back. Go ahead.
ultimately,
You had faded out. So repeat what you were saying. You we lost you for a
oh,
second.
I probably faded out because I was moving. Okay, sorry, I did read. But it was founded um, by a couple black um, uh,
Individuals.
yeah, individuals. And this movement was
Faded out again. That's what happens when you go live. Sometimes you run into difficulties, but we gonna get this thing jumping like pogo. You moved again. Go ahead.
I okay. I'm not really moving. I guess the signal is being weird. But anyway, this movement was or is, I should say, because it's still going on. To help, you know, give these people equal rights, and um,
We're speaking with um Autumn.
while I like what
No, it's fading in and out, and when you do that, I have to remind the audience, trying to keep them on edge, keep them here. So, if I may ask you to back up a little bit, go ahead.
I okay. Uh, where did you lose me? Because like I keep
You
having
were
to stop
basically
talking.
you
So where
you
did you
you're
lose me?
basically giving your history of what you feel or what you know about Black Lives Matters. So let me move forward and say that what is it? Are there some concerns that you have that you want that you may not had any clearance to or any understanding? What was it that prompted you to bring this?
So um, I like the concept, but what I don't like, and please correct me if I'm wrong. Okay, but what I don't like is that this is only for African Americans. Okay, why isn't there a movement like this for blind people, or for Asians, or for Mexicans, or for like
Other races. Okay, when she comes back, I'll answer that question. Are you here's a situation. Here's a situation because we can fade. I don't know what the deal is. Now, this Black Lives Matter movement was created on the principle of the injustice that has been encountered amongst Black people. More so specifically, dealing with a police brutality and the way that policemen have been treating individuals of color, more specifically Black people. Okay, hence the name. They came up with the name Black Lives Matter, which, in a sense, in no means negating any other races, saying that their lives do not matter. It just brought more of attention to the race, African American race, because of the fact that there was a great deal of police brutality. There was a great deal of injustice that was occurring amongst individuals of color. So they created the name to bring awareness. You follow me so far?
yes.
Now, you have any questions before I move forward? That's basically the premises. You have any questions right quick before I move forward?
It
Anything.
basically what I'm saying is I get it that this this was started because of how the police were treating black people.
Hmm.
But we also don't know how they're treating Mexicans or Asians. And it's what if they're being treated in a similar fashion? We just don't know about that.
Okay.
Do you get what I'm
And
saying?
and I understand that, and the reason why, let me say, it's attention that has been brought to the African American race via the news, via the internet, things of that nature. So that is made aware. That's the that a lot of people see what's going on now. No one is excluding or saying that this injustice is not happening across the board or to different races, but until it's brought to the forefront, until it's made aware, then that's the only way that people know about it. It's just the fact that so much of this injustice is much more prevalent amongst the black community, because we see a lot of there's a higher percentage of individuals who are black
Okay.
who are getting killed by the police. You see a lot of wrongdoings that policemen have done versus people of other races. So that and I go back to, hence the name Black Lives Matter, letting them to bring awareness, to let people know that, hey, our lives or black lives do matter. It does count. It's not a matter of putting one race above another. It's just the fact that it's true, because other races have taken into account that, well, our black lives really don't matter. We can shoot black people. We can do this. We can do that. That doesn't matter. That's the reason why this was brought up. Go ahead. I see you were about to say something.
Okay.
Go ahead. You were about to say something.
Uh, no, it just there have been a couple of moments where you were talking, and I lost connection.
Mhm.
Um, so
So what did you get? I mean, out of what I had just said, were you able to conjure up any other thoughts between the fading in and fading out? Sorry.
it, it I don't really have anything to say really at this point. So I mean,
I mean, do you feel that? Do you feel that? You feel that
it
other races. Go ahead, because I'm
okay.
just.
I'm not saying that this movement is trying to put a race above people,
Mhm.
but what I'm saying is it's hyped so much. The news is giving this movement like so much attention, which is great. Like, okay, I'm not saying
Uh, we're speaking with Autumn. We're talking about Black Lives Matter movement, trying to explain the movement and explain the protest
but
and why it
there
is.
there are also other things happening to other people. So what I'm basically saying is, why isn't the news covering other things?
Well, that question, me personally, I can't answer why, but because of the fact that there are
So we can speculate.
well, what would be your speculation?
It probably because people are more interested in this than in other movements.
Well, the reason why I would say and strongly say that it's that this is more, or Black Lives Matter, the topics are of interest, is because there have been a great deal of blacks. And don't get me wrong, there have been other races that've killed, but the more so blacks, there's a higher percentage of black or African Americans who have been killed by the police. And even and if you want to go further back into understanding about the black race in terms of how we are looked at as far as second class citizens, when there was when there is information that has been documented that shows the contributions that we or black people have made to America. So it's always we've always looked at as second class citizens. So the Black Lives Matter movement is not a matter of to bring awareness to our race. It has been put together to bring awareness to what has been going on, the injustice, and that's the only premises that that it's based on. Now you can say other lives matter, blind lives matter, until there's something that has happened that has brought a great deal of attention to blind people or people who have other impairments. Then hence there will be a movement in the process. But because of what has transpired over the many years in terms of black people being considered second and third class citizens, that has also spearheaded this particular movement. Go ahead.
That makes sense. Okay.
We're speaking with Autumn, and she just has some questions about the Black Lives Matter. She proposed earlier, or she stated earlier, that why should there be, or why is there Black Lives Matter movement? Because there are other races, there are other situations that are just as important, which I strongly agree. But this movement was not based on the fact that hey, we want to bring attention, let people know that black, and that's the misconception that people
It
other races.
that's n-
Go
that's
ahead.
not what I was asking. I wasn't asking why is there this movement because there are others. I was asking why is this movement getting much more attention than than other things out there. That's
And
what
that
I was asking.
and well that I think strongly, Autumn, that you would have to propose that to maybe the media. Why why this, because lately it hasn't got too much coverage, only during the times of like more specifically the George Floyd killings, things of that nature. So I haven't heard too much about it, in terms of the protestings and things of that nature. But mainly that question may have to be proposed to maybe some news outlets, some media outlets, and things of that nature, as to why this it's getting more coverage than any others. You follow me?
I mean, yeah, but I was hoping that we could, have an actual conversation about it instead of you basically like, oh, this, needs to be taken somewhere else. Because that's not.
I mean, I'm not part of the media, so therefore, I mean, I mean, I really couldn't answer that, but I can only,
You don't have to actually answer. There. Okay. The whole point of this is that there is no true answer. That's not why I wanted to talk about this. I know that there is no true answer,
mhm,
but I wanted to hear your opinion.
well, that's basically the situation in terms of as far as, like, as I mentioned earlier, it hasn't gotten too much widespread coverage as it had been a couple of years ago, when there was something that had transpired that prompted the movement to actually take to take legs and grow. Recently there hasn't been too much that has happened, and that's why I'm saying it's basically the Black Lives Matter movement is based on the principle of any of injustice, any type of police brutality, any type of injustice of that magnitude. That's why. Now, if it's if it's just regular situations as that has happened, occurred. Now, the Black Lives Matters really don't involve themselves in situations of that magnitude. You follow me? Is it making sense? Is that making sense to you? Because,
From what I heard before,
mm,
you 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 canceled out again. Yeah, that makes sense.
okay.
Um, I don't really have much else to say. So
I mean, were your questions answered? I didn't. I wanted to bring you on so that we can at least bounce.
sure.
Yeah,
I
bounce.
mean, like I said, it's I. the question isn't truly going to be answered.
Right.
So yeah.
So what would be your question that you really want to ask in reference to BLM?
Has this movement helped people? Has it, you know, has it helped people in their lives? Has it made their lives easier? Is, I guess, the question I would ask.
And what would your answer be? What do you think? You have any idea, or you just want you really, you know, from what you've heard thus far, as far as the Black Lives Matter, what have you heard, or that has maybe solidified your answer, or your thoughts?
Well, I mean, as an outsider, I mean, I would say yes, it has. But, I would also like to hear from you as a black man. Has it helped you?
Well, it hasn't had, and honestly, it hasn't helped me. It would depend on when. Okay, let's folk tackle the word
When
help.
I say help,
Yeah.
I mean, like, like, do you feel, well, okay, I shouldn't say safer, but, like, do you feel at peace, at least mostly compared to before this movement was started?
Wait, say it one more time, because I was checking my messages too.
Do you
Wait.
feel more at peace? Do you feel that this is helping your brothers and sisters?
No, I
No?
mean,
Really?
if you no, if you no, I don't think so, because there are still, and I'm gonna be honest with you, there are still police beatings, there's still shootings. So whatever premises, which is what I stated earlier, that they based it on in terms of creating Black Lives Matter, things are still happening, and Black Lives Matter, they're not equipped, or they're not I'm quite sure they didn't get into the realm of trying to police the police. I mean, that starts from other areas. It's just the fact that they are an organization that sort of kind of should I say, assist in any type of injustice, or just bring awareness and things of that nature. So as far as helping, I don't think that it has helped, because it's a great deal of injustice that has that that is going on in the police departments and things of that nature. Now, don't get me wrong, that's just one aspect, because there are black on black killings, which I strongly feel does not make a sense, and I wish that the Lives Matter would have been created for that premises as well, because there's a great deal of shootings and things of that nature. But fortunately, it hasn't, and it's an unfortunate situation that both those two things are still occurring: blacks killing blacks, as well as policemen killing blacks as well. So, in answering your question, no, I don't feel that it has helped, and I don't feel that it is designed to assist or to help. A
Okay,
great,
so then
that was a great
I
question. That was a great
won't.
question.
And, well, I was going to ask, do you see potential in this? Do you see this going further, growing? But you said that you don't see this.
Well, I can say this, as far as do I see the potential of the Black Lives Matter organization growing? Is that the question that you're asking?
Yes, but also, do you see it growing as in, or like it, if not growing, um, uh, improving uh,
Well, it
would be
just
the word.
yeah, it just depends on what you for yourself, what you see is wrong with the organization. I mean, because it's still subjective. They may see that everything's okay within the group itself, but you and I
What do
probably.
you personally see?
Well, I honestly I don't follow them that closely, but I know the fact, what the premises is, what they're based on, and as I mentioned earlier, I don't. Um, strongly feel that they're not together, or they're not they weren't erected to police any police, to bring about justice. Is more so to bring awareness and to let people, not not saying that, people, some people feel that the black lives or lives of black people didn't matter, but just to bring more attention because of the fact that this was happening, because it's the killings were happening too regularly, and policemen were getting off, even with the emergence of video cameras and things of that nature. They still were getting off from killing blacks. And the Black Lives Matter movement was created, as I mentioned, for the fourth time, just to bring awareness and to let people know what's going on in the streets, and to to sort of kind of keep tabs on situations at hand.
Right.
Great question.
I've noticed that, like when something like this is created, either for, this situation or for any other, movement, it's not always, but there are times when, something like this is created and its intention is good. Its first intention is good,
True.
but then it turns out to be not as uh good as
Right, the
it's
intent,
it's
people's, and
planned.
and I think that's with any organization, not just with Black Lives Matter. Any other organizations, the intentions may start off as being, one way, but and sometimes it may be money that
One
makes.
person can change
Right,
it.
right, right, or it could be money that changes people's thoughts. But let me pose the question and ask you, and not trying to put you on the spot, but we pose that we're gonna ask anything. Do you think uh, Black Lives Matter as a white person?
Do I think what? You're
Do
cutting
you
out again.
think that Black Lives Matter? And
Yes,
okay,
yes. I think that Black Lives Matter. I think that Asians matter. I think that Muslims matter. I think everyone should have a say in things. And if police are attacking certain people because of their color, because of their religion, because of certain things, then that's just cruel, and that needs to stop.
okay, great. So do you
That's
know?
what I was saying before, though.
Do you
It's
Go ahead? I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Have you been following the news over the past years to know of any incidents that have occurred with Black lives, in terms of Black people being mistreated at the hands of the police? Have you heard of any of this? Do you follow the news?
And at the moment, no. I can't really give examples. I do know about, like I said, 2013, 2020, and this year. I know about the things that happened this year.
That's one.
Uh, but like if there were any, recent, like maybe a couple weeks ago, I haven't really intentionally um, looked at it. I'll admit. Not because I don't want to, but just because I've been, focused on other things.
Okay, so are
So,
you aware of like George Floyd, Cassandra Blair?
yes,
Okay, so do do you understand, as a white person? Do you understand that and there are several other incidents that have occurred, and deaths at the hands of police. Do you understand why uh, a black, or let's say an organization would be created to bring awareness, and
yes,
not just for the sake of just trying to say, well, hey, my race is better than your race? Do you understand
yes,
why?
and that's not what I was
No, 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 no.
saying
That's
though.
not what I'm trying to do. That, and by all means, I'm just trying to. I'm throwing stuff out there for the sake of conversation. So it's not a matter of me being accusatory towards you. So I wouldn't. I'm not, I'm just asking a question just to get your opinion for someone who is white. So, and that's the question I had wanted to ask. Do you feel that had or should have been a need, or what would you have proposed, you know, to come out of the fact that there's so many killings and what have you? What do you propose? Do you think this is the right organization to do so, or right thing to do?
I think that there should be, like, this sort of thing, but on a national scale. And when I say national, I mean, all races. Um, but that's just me.
Right.
And I don't really have like examples at the moment, but like I think that this should extend to everyone.
So, being that that's the case, what and you
I'm
feel
not saying that that this movement that's happening at the moment is not good. As I said earlier, it's great.
mhm.
It's just I think that it would reach more awareness if it were a lot bigger.
So do you? Well, it is great. It's a pretty big organization, and it is on the national level. Do you feel that the name it shouldn't be
The
Black
name
Lives
should change.
in turn? What would you propose?
Um,
Would you say all lives matter? Would you say some lives matter? Would you say a conglomerate of lives matter? What would you say instead of saying?
no, no, it needs to be more creative than that. And I wish I was in my more creative space at the moment, but I'm not. But basically, just that the title should, kind of attempt to include, um, all races. Um,
Well, can I play the devil's advocate then?
Go ahead.
What would you say to those individuals who say that okay, all races do, all lives do matter, which we both, you and I both agree that all lives do matter. But what would you say to individuals who feel that their lives matter more so than other races? Hence, that's why in most cases the Black Lives Matter organization was created to bring awareness to let people know that hey, we're not putting our race above anyone. We're just letting people know that don't take us our this our race, black race, for granted, to let you know, hey, we're here. Our lives do matter, police. Our lives do matter, judges. Our lives do matter, prosecutors. What would you say to people, who have those ideas and want to just basically bring attention as opposed to all lives just mattering? Make it, what I'm saying?
I would say, um, you know, try to answer this question to yourself. What if you or your daughter or your son were in that situation? How would you feel if there was injustice done to you? How would you feel? How would you react?
Meaning, go ahead, say it. What do you mean?
Well, I mean, meaning, if there was a situation, like, uh, say, the George Floyd,
Situation.
uh, yeah, case,
Mm-hmm.
but it um uh happening, on a different scale. Maybe you know a God forbid, Asian killed a white person,
Mm-hmm.
or a white person killed an Asian, or
Mm-hmm.
something. And just the question, you know
I'm listening. We're speaking with Autumn as she fade in and out. Um, about Black Lives Matter. Okay.
well, yes, but what I'm saying is, it's how can I explain it to where it would make more sense?
No, you got time. Go ahead.
I'm not worried about the time. Just how I can word this to where it makes sense. Um, Basically, what I'm saying is, if you now when I say you, I'm not saying you personally. I'm just saying
No, no,
you
I
as
know.
in people in general. If you think your life matters more than anyone else's, okay, then my question to you is, if you were put in a similar situation
Mm-hmm.
and um, uh, something like this happened to you. Maybe you were arrested
Mm-hmm.
for something that you didn't do,
Mm-hmm.
and no matter what you did, you did not get justice. You know, what would be your reaction? Would you still have that whole thing? Oh, my life matters more than anyone else's, or
I
would
mean,
that change?
if I'm understanding you correctly, if it's happening to a race if things are if there's a great deal of injustice that's happening more frequently to a race of individuals, then of course there's going to be a great deal of awareness that's going to be brought back. That's going to be brought that's going to be brought to that particular race. If that answers your question, but more so, even further back, I mean, there was so much that has been occurring amongst black people. I mean, hell, the Black Lives Matter movement could have been prompted way back then. It just so happened that some young people created this particular movement out of the injustice. So it could have been created way back then. In terms of bringing awareness and letting them know that my life does matter just as well as the white lives, just as well as Oriental lives, just as well as blind people's lives and things of that nature. Go ahead. You follow me?
Hmm.
Yeah. So that's the situation. But yeah. That would you have any more questions before I move forward?
No, I don't really have any other questions at this point.
Are you much more understanding of it? Uh,
Yes.
okay, cool. And that's the thing about it, because at least you have taken the chance and the opportunity to just to give your candid viewpoint about what Black Lives Matter and what you understand and don't understand, or whatever. Just asking any questions to clarify your mis your understandings, and that's what it takes, a great deal of communication and whatnot. And that was why I was glad to actually do this video with you and what have you. Have any anything else you want to say? Because I don't want to drag it all out. This is good and kept everybody's interest. I can't comment because it's gonna throw me off. But we have some live viewers. You have anything you want to say?
At the moment, I don't really have a lot to say. Just you know, make peace.
Hmm.
If you feel that there's things or situation that needs forgiveness, you know,
Okay.
I would do it.
Okay. What I like
So
to
that's
go.
really all I have to say.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. This was a very good topic that we are you know focused on, and with me, it's on the heels of what I post last night in my on my video. So yeah, I definitely need to go check that out because it goes hand in hand. But I'm glad to have had Autumn on here to bring attention and awareness, and understand even more so than she does. Before she had come on Third Eye Visions. So with that being said, I'm gonna come to a closing, and I will allow you to give the audience again where they could find you, a little bit more about yourself, and we'll come to a conclusion. Go ahead.
So my podcast is on Anchor and also on Spotify at the moment. You can find me on Twitter, um, uh, um, at McCord Megan. If you uh, type in Autumn Valkyrie, you'll find me. And you can shoot me a message and comment.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, there we have it. Thank you so much, Autumn, for coming on. We're gonna talk. Give me a call once I get off and clear everything up, and we will take care of the situation at hand. And again, thanks for viewing. Continue to subscribe and go check her podcast. I'm gonna put the link in the description once I get everything straight. So thanks again, Autumn. I appreciate it.
Yes.
Thank you. Bye bye.